Welcome to Agape. Here we are again, coming together to explore life, to understand the power that exists within us. If this is your first time, Agape means unconditional love. And that's, Martin Luther King said, the love of God operating through the human heart. I define love as the awareness and acceptance of our wholeness. We're a spiritual community that teaches how to better self-love. We teach the science of mind, and we teach a practicing of a Zen philosophy of accepting what is, and allowing whatever is happening to move through us and out of us so that we can be fully present in each and every moment. Everything we talk about at Agape is practical, because if it's not practical, why would we waste our time? I believe that life is here to be enjoyed, to be experienced as fully as possible, and that's what we do. So before we get into today's message, let's take a few moments and let's get ourselves centered. So I invite you to come into a comfortable seated upright position. Your back is straight. Hands gently resting on your arms, on your lap, eyes closed. Now gently take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for a second. And now exhale it through your mouth. And as you do, start to relax. Again, another deep breath in. And as you exhale, release any stress, any tension. Again, breathing in love, breathing out anything unlike love. So I want you to imagine what qualities would create your perfect best friend. If you had the most ideal best friend in the world, what qualities would you like them to have? Are they funny? Are they trustworthy? Are they intelligent? Do they accept you as you are? Are they adventurous? Are they compassionate? Are they quiet? Are they outspoken? Are they balanced? Really get the qualities, and what would it feel like if that person were in your life now? Someone you could turn to whenever something was going on and know that you were cool being with them. Now see that image of that person, your best friend, right in front of you. And now step into it. That's right, step into it. And become that person. And become that best friend. Because in truth, the most important friend you have is the friendship you build with you. And notice how you feel having stepped into this avatar image of a best friend. It makes you smile because you realize you don't have to look any further. You've found that friend you've been looking for. And he or she's been with you the whole time you've been living. And now you realize it. So anchor this feeling of knowing that that which you seek is within you. And know that you can return to this image anytime you want. So gently start to come back to this time, this place, this day, this body. And when you're ready, wiggle your fingers and toes, maybe stretch a little bit. And now open your eyes and welcome back. So today, I'm going to talk about why being your own best friend changes everything. Everything. What if I told you that the one person who has the power to love you unconditionally, support you through every challenge, and will never abandon you, has always been there right along, all along, been right there with you? It's you. There's no one in the world that's with you all the time. There's no one who should love you more unconditionally than you. There's no one that you control other than you. So you have the ability to become whatever you choose to be. And that power is always there. It's always been with you. It's there now, and it'll always be with you. You will always be with you. That awareness that you are will always be with you. And it will experience everything. In fact, it's the only one who's ever experienced everything that you've ever experienced. No one else on the planet can. So why is becoming your best friend important? Well, the first reason is you're with yourself 24/7, 365 for as long as you are alive on this planet. No one else is there with you. So your best friend, why it's important to be your own best friend? Because you're with you all the time. Another reason is no one will ever know you better than you. No one will know all the nuances, all the wins, all the losses, all the feelings, all of the accomplishments, all of the what we might call failures. No one knows you better than you. That's good to have in a best friend. And if your inner voice is harsh, judgmental, full of self-doubt, your life will reflect that energy. So becoming your own best friend means you now reflect a different energy in life, and you become that. Also, becoming your best friend is so important because when you do that, you stop seeking external validation. Because seeking external validation, it's a losing game. Because no one will ever approve of you all the time. And then you're constantly seeking, and you're at the whim. You become a victim when you seek others' approvals. When you're your own best friend, you're not a victim. And if you are, you can change it immediately. You see, becoming your best friend is important because your life becomes a seesaw based on the whim of others when you're not your best friend. And you don't need to be bouncing back and forth. You want a best friend that you're steady, that you have a compassion with, that understands you, that's always there. So becoming your best friend is so important, so important. You see, true fulfillment does not come from the world around us, but from how we relate to ourselves. At the end of the day, when I'm in bed at night, I review my day and say, was I fulfilled? What could I have done better to be greater fulfillment? I know the answer. Being my own best friend, I would answer honestly. You see, when we fully accept ourselves, external situations lose their power to dictate our happiness. Your happiness becomes an inside-out job. But what we're doing now is, I've got to go talk to my besties. You hear that all the time. Well, then what are you at the whim of your besties? And whatever your besties say dictates whether you're happy or you have a sense of well-being. I believe it's time to reclaim that. Claim it and share with your besties, but you're your best friend. So what are the consequences when we look outside? Well, your relationship with yourself shapes every other relationship. Do you realize that your relationship with who you are determines how you are with everyone else? If you're not self-loving, that goes out, and your relationships with everyone else will not be loving. If you're not kind to yourself, you're not going to be kind to others in your life. If you're critical of yourself, you're going to be critical of others. You see, if you don't trust or respect yourself, how can you expect anyone else to? And isn't trust something we desire? Don't we desire to be respected? And if we can trust and respect ourselves, guess what? We feel safe with ourselves. And there's no greater way to go through life is that feeling safe. But if you're looking on the outside to feel safe, the outside's constantly changing. It's not persistent and consistent in any way, shape, or form. But if your relationship with yourself is sound, then the trust and respect stays there. And this is a biggie. The way you treat yourself sets the standard for how others treat you. That's right. You will never, ever allow anyone to treat you worse than you treat yourself. Think about that for a moment. So if you're being abused verbally by someone else, you might want to look inside and say, am I verbally abusing myself when I'm alone? Chances are we do that. We are our own worst critic. So we can stop looking at the outside, because the outside gives us a clue as to what's going on in the inside. And when we get the clue about what's going on in the inside, we now have power, because we can control what's going on inside of us. We absolutely have no control of what's happening outside of us. None. And we've got to give that up. Got to give it up. You're powerless dealing with the outside. You're powerful when you're dealing with what's happening inside. So what does it mean to be your own best friend? Well, number one, it's self-acceptance over perfection. You accept yourself just as you are. You stop judging things and realize that everything that you're experiencing, everything that you're doing is part of the journey. It's part of the path. And when you understand it's part of the path, you realize that everything is there for you to become more aware, for you to grow into a greater and greater and greater experience of life. And you learn to accept what is and then to move forward. It also means speaking to yourself with kindness. Why wouldn't you speak to your best friend with kindness? Why would you do non-loving things like judge yourself? Don't do that. Be kind to yourself. The kinder you are to yourself, the kinder you are to others. Also, when you're with your best friend, it means you enjoy being with you. You love your own company. I'll tell you what, I make myself laugh all the time. I find myself hysterically funny. Now, my wife and sons will tell you, you're not that funny, Dad. But you know what? It doesn't matter what they think. I'm enjoying me. I love being with me. I'm comfortable being with me. Can you ask that question and get the same answer? It's time to get that answer. Here's the other thing about being your own best friend. You trust yourself. But you see, maybe you don't trust yourself right now. And that means you've got to learn to become your own best friend. It means you've got to learn to trust yourself, enjoy your own company, treat yourself with kindness, self-accept yourself. Don't beat yourself up when you make a mistake. Don't do that. You wouldn't do that to this best friend. Why do it to you, the person who matters most in your life? So, how do you become your own best friend? Number one, change your inner dialogue. Our self-talk is everything. Take a moment each day to reflect, how am I talking to myself? And if you feel yourself getting upset over something, stop right there and say, what am I saying about myself? Yeah, what am I saying about myself? Something to consider. Also, to become your own best friend, Practice radical self-forgiveness. Give yourself a break and realize at the time you were doing the best that you could, and you probably made the mistake unconsciously. Learn from it and let it go. You don't need to hold on to it. You don't need to take it forward. You can give yourself the gift of forgiveness, no matter what it is. Next, learn to spend quality time with yourself. Doing things, taking a walk, being comfortable being with yourself, sitting in meditation, watching a movie, creating something, whatever it is. I had a great day yesterday because I spent quality time with myself building a hypnosis workshop. I loved it because I got to explore it from how would Lee present this? How would Lee want to hear this? How would this make sense for Lee? For me, that was quality time. I love quality time this morning, quality time in the gym. I was on the elliptical day, doing my 30 minutes on the elliptical and listening to a talk by Michael Singer. I love that I spent that time with me. Another thing to become your best friend is set boundaries that honor you. Best way I can say that is people will try to monopolize your time. And there are energy vampires out there, or there are people that want to control you and stuff. You are responsible for setting boundaries. I don't let people have time from me if they're going to just take the energy out of me and it's not a mutual give and receive relationship. I limit that completely. You're saying, well, you're a minister. I'm a minister, but I have the right to set boundaries because I don't lower myself to the vibration of someone I'm working with. I maintain my high vibration to give them something to move up to. So often we try to lower ourselves so that the person can feel comfortable. Don't do that. Be empathetic, but never lower your vibration. Here's the big one. To celebrate, become your best friend, celebrate your wins. A lot of people at night like to do a gratitude thing. What are you grateful for? I've changed that a bit. I celebrate what did I win at today? And a win could be, I felt anger coming up and I looked at why I was being angry and I realized, well, that was silly. There was no reason to be angry. Or I felt anger coming up and rather than expressing it towards someone, I went to the gym and I worked out and got rid of the anger. And now I see clearly I didn't have anything to really be angry about. It was really something very minute. In other words, I got triggered. And what we don't understand is that if you're triggered by something, that means someone pressed your button. It wasn't just that moment. It was probably 1,000 things leading up to that moment that's happened over the course of your life that have been repressed that caused that button to and you would explode. And the person in front of you would never, ever deserve what you might be giving them. So always focus, always focus on celebrating your wins. So if you become your best friend, what's in it for you? So what are the benefits of becoming your own best friend? Number one, emotional resilience. You're the master of your emotions. You can bounce back from everything because you know how to do that. Second, you have more fulfilling relationships because the deeper your relationship is with you, the more you self-love, the more you're kind in that with yourself, it turns out you transmit that. I can tell you that my relationship, my wife, keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper because of the relationship I'm creating within me. The less I judge me, the less I judge her. The more I accept me, the more I accept her. The more I do anything with me, the more I trust me, I trust her. The more I feel safe with me, the more I feel safe with her. Do you see? Becoming your own best friend, it just radiates outward. The other thing too then, is when you become your best friend, man, do you develop a great sense of inner peace because you're never worried about what your best friend's going to do next because you always know. And you always know that if you need support, you're right there. Now that doesn't mean you don't have friendships. No, I have lots of good, I have several really close friends, and I have a lot of friends that are more casual friends. And that's wonderful. But the heart of it, the foundation of my friendships is my friendships with me. The other thing, when you become your own best friend, you live fearlessly. You're not afraid to move out into the world. You're not afraid to try something new. You're not afraid of hurting your own feelings because you trust yourself. You're the one making the decisions. And so much of the time, we don't live fearlessly because we're afraid we're going to hurt someone's feelings. First off, you can't hurt their feelings because only they control their feelings. Doesn't matter what you do, they're the masters of that. And when you start to understand that, you become powerful. You became a powerful creator of your life. And then you become an example to others. And that's the best thing you can do for people. You can't tell people what to do. You can't tell them. They will not listen. But if you model it, they're watching. Whether you believe it or not, people are watching you all the time. And who you are is what they believe about you. So when you start becoming your own best friend, and you've got emotional resilience, you've got fulfilling relationship with yourself and others, you've got a sense of great inner peace, you're living fearlessly, they sense and see that, and that's an inspiration. When you become your own best friend, your world changes from the inside out, because that's the only way the world can change, and it changes your perception. So I want to ask you this question. What is the one thing you can do right now to deepen your friendship with yourself? Think about it. Think about it. And promise yourself that today you're going to take that step. And then tomorrow ask, what is the next thing I can do to become my own best friend? And then take that step. Life is a journey. It's about you consciously making choices, stepping into them, and taking action. When you do that, man, you understand that becoming your own best friend is not a destination. It's a lifelong practice. Life is a journey, and it begins and ends with you. I want to thank you for taking your time to be with me today, to share. Your time is valuable, and I'm very grateful for it. If this message resonated with you, I would invite you, please share it, like it, comment on it, whatever medium you're watching on or listening to. Also, go to agapespiritualcenter.com. I've got classes coming up. Sign up and take a class. Join us for a gathering. There are morning meditations online every single morning. We're here for you to support you. And if this message really touched your heart, make a donation. Support us as we bring this message to greater and greater numbers of people around the world. It's through your gifts that we're able to keep going. So with my heart open, from my best friend to you, I see who you are, and I'm honored that you chose to allow me to be in your life. Make it a great one.